Burger Bash is definitely one of the things that I was the most excited for moving here when I first came to university in first year. This year, there are over 130 burgers to try over 10 days because 7 days is just, it's not enough to try all the good burgers that Burger Bash has to offer. And they are offering restaurants for Burger Bash in Dartmouth, Bedford, downtown Halifax, and Peggy's Cove.
And the best part isn't even the burgers. It's the fact that it supports a good cause. Each burger donates anywhere between $1 and $5 to Feed Nova Scotia. Over $677,000 has been donated, resulting in over 1 million meals provided to Nova Scotians to date. It's also super important that Burger Bash is accessible for everyone, which is why there are 7 non-donation burgers priced at only $7.
This year's presenting sponsor is Fine Company Brewing. Brewed in Moncton, New Brunswick, they offer a seasonal IPA, blonde, red IPA, and radlers sold only in the Maritimes. Fine Company Brewing is hosting a Fine Company hosted bash to one lucky winner to kick off the summer. Buy a Fine Company beer during Burger Week and get a sticker for your Burger Bash passport to enter to win.
Burger Bash kicks off at Rogers Square on April 28th and goes until May 7th. Visit burgerbash.ca to download your Burger Bash passport or get your copy in participating restaurants.
Let's get into the juice, the goss,
right.
The tea.
the dirt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Who wants to go first?
I think
sisters?
Bekah should go first
Okay.
because this story is awesome.
Okay,
I'm so excited.
Let me clear my throat.
Don't Google your. If you think you have a bad ex, we have many.
Yeah. So this ex I dated for about a year, and I lived out west at that time.
It felt like 10 years.
I know.
I liked him actually.
I know.
This is the sad part.
I know. He's really sweet. All the exes
Not
are
really
sweet.
when you hear the end of the story.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
You thought he was.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
thought he was.
yes. So we dated for like maybe a year-ish, and we at the time we lived out west, and it was a little bit like when we were talking about on our podcast that you guys go to an all-girl school, so there's like only a few guys.
Yeah.
It was one of those situations because he is really good looking too, and he's very sweet. But I was living in Staffacom, so I was working on
He's not that good looking.
This was the thing.
We call it campground effect. Like
Yeah,
when you're like
okay,
you're
that's
like
more
in an
like it.
isolated place.
Yeah.
There's like a few guys there.
Yeah.
So I was
One of
living
them-
in
yeah.
Jasper. We were literally in the woods. We
Okay.
lived on the resort. I worked on the golf course. He worked as a server. We lived in Staffacom.
So romantic.
Yes,
Yeah.
we had a great relationship. But then when it was time for me to come back home, I was just like, well, then it was horrible. This is another story which I won't tell. But I broke up with him, then came back home. Then was like, actually, I do want you to come. And then he flew all the way here. He's from BC. And then I was like, actually, I don't like you. And my parents were like, Bekah!
Because he was like living with, and then you were like, I'm moving out, and he was living with mom and dad.
No, for like 2 nights. Okay. I know, it was bad.
You're like, whoops.
You're like, I gotta go.
Yeah, because the thing is he was one of those people where he's very sweet. So, but you know, just when someone
He made really good mugs. From
yeah,
Play
he
Cafe.
was an artist actually, which Anna stole.
And you let him go?
I stole
Yeah.
the mug.
How dare you?
But he just annoyed me. Like, I was back with him for like 24 hours, and I was like, I can't.
Yeah,
you're
fair.
so annoying. Like, and you know when
Yeah.
someone's annoying you.
Did
then,
you really just need to get laid?
I think so.
Yeah. You have
And
to go
then,
back
like,
to the well. a few
Exactly.
times.
Yeah.
And
It was an expensive flight down for one lay.
Yeah, exactly.
She's that good, girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we broke up, whatever. So maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. So this was when I was in my early 20s, and I'm 37 now. So maybe like a few years ago. So it's been like 10 plus years. And I was like, I wonder what he's doing. And so I went and like stalked, no social media. And I know I've told you guys about this before. Like some people are just hit or miss in our
right.
demo as an elder millennials. And then article came up.
Oh my gosh.
On Google.
Yeah. On
It's
Google.
always when it's an article. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
what could be
Yeah.
in there?
It was his face.
Okay.
Mug
And it was
shot?
a mugshot.
And
And
it
he
was a
looked
mugshot.
horrible.
He was not that hot in this picture.
I feel so mean. If you're
I know.
listening, you are cute. I don't. He's listening though. I can't imagine he is. But
Tuning in.
You're cute that made horrible decisions in life.
yeah.
tell
I know
them
I
what-
should stop saying that.
What
Okay,
was the
let's get to the
crime?
meat. Let's get to
Yeah.
the meat. So the article is man bites woman's boob at concert. Woman, or no, actually, minor's boob.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, I should have led with that, and then I wouldn't have to call him cute and feel bad. So then I read the article. So essentially what happened was he's at a concert in
Outdoor
Seattle.
music festival.
Yeah, outdoor musical festival. He goes up to a girl, a 14-year-old
Whose
who's
mom
there with
is
his
there.
mom.
Your fucking mouth.
He was about like 32, 33 and bites her boob.
Yeah.
Shut
But one of the
up.
funniest part of the article is, and they're like, the girl claims on a scale of 1 to 10, the pain was about a 3.
So he didn't even give it a good shot.
So he like gently.
He was like not
which
sure
is like
about it.
even
He's like,
more
should I
creepy.
No,
And the
literally.
mom was there.
Yeah, the mom was
He
there.
got like arrested on the spot.
And he was detained in Seattle because he's obviously from Canada. And then they said, man is remorseful, and man was drunk and on cocaine.
Was he like into biting or anything, or like
Not
was it
that
kind
I
of?
knew.
It just seemed out of the blue.
But you know what? It did kind of.
You were like,
I was like, I could see it because the one thing he did, he was like a skater boy. So I'm like, I could see you like getting
being into
like
freaky,
wilding
yeah.
out.
Well, maybe if he wasn't a biting, you wouldn't have even noticed because it was only a 3.
Yeah, it was only a 3.
So
You're
like,
like,
It was
I
a
don't
nibble.
notice
Yeah,
that is too good. Look what you did to
know.
him.
I know.
Tell them the one more story about when he saved your life / you tried to.
He saved your life.
Yeah.
The biter.
It was a really bad time. So what happened was I've done shrooms twice in my life. And this was the first time I ever did shrooms.
Yeah.
And
with
I was
the biter.
With the biter.
With Mr.
Yeah.
Bite. Okay.
so we were on Staffacom. So we're in the forest in
Yeah.
Jasper. And so I take
Staffacom is staff accommodations. It's
Yes,
where
sorry.
they
I
when
thought that
you
was the
work-
name of a place
Yeah,
that you were
no.
living. I was like,
I was
Staffacom
like,
BC.
yes,
Okay.
Staffacom.
No,
Yeah,
I
sorry.
lived in the staff accommodations at Banff. So they pay, like, it comes straight out of your paycheck and they give you an apartment to live in.
Okay.
But you literally are like bunking with like 3 other people.
So how it
Okay.
is like you're at this big fancy resort.
and then they
behind
have like
the
staff
resort
quarters.
Okay.
are like
Yeah.
all these cabins, and like Anna says, you pay to live there, and there's like 4 girls to a room, for example. So
Yeah.
it's like legit summer camp.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
really is. And it's really fun, by the way. Any young listeners?
Very
like,
fun.
It's like
job.
below deck on land.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I
You guys
recommend
watch
it.
that.
And out west, the drinking age is 18. So when I moved out there, it was great. Right after
You
high
were
school.
vibing, yeah.
I was doing my
And
thing.
so I copied her and I did the same thing.
Of course. Stop.
Quick side note: below deck, dream job.
Yes,
I know.
it's very
Yeah,
below deck-ish.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I wish I had done below deck. When I watch that now,
Yeah.
I'm like, if I was younger, I would so go
Yeah,
do
good
that.
thing they didn't film it because it would be like below deck, like all the shenanigans. That's
I miss
like
the
what we were
drama
like.
of having crushes and hookups with like coworkers.
Yeah.
Like that is
Yeah.
just that keeps me
Just get
going.
a bartending job.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Honestly,
Yeah. So anyway, so we do the shrooms and I'm hating it. And that I just don't like drugs like that. Like I don't like
Yeah.
lock you in for like 8 hours.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I'm
a
just
whole
not that
endeavor.
relaxed.
Yeah.
So I was freaking
And she was
out.
macro dosing, not micro dosing.
Yeah, I macroed. And so then I just had it in my head. I was like, I need to die. Like the only way for this to end is die. So then I like ran to my bedroom
I'm never
window.
smoking with this bitch.
And I ran to the window and I was like, I'm going.
Tore out the screen.
Oh my god.
And he just got pissed because we were on the ground level. So he was like, nothing's going to happen. You're just going to bust up the window and then we're going to have to pay for this and all whatever. And then so at one point I ran back to my bedroom because like he had got me out of the bedroom and I ran back and he was coming and I just like slammed the door, but it ended up like hitting him right in the face. And then the next morning was just like the worst hangover because one, like all of Staffacom was like, Becca's like maybe dying. Like everyone knew that I was
tripping balls over Staffacom.
The next morning was a total babe moment. Everyone was like, babe? And I was like, babe. I had a bad night. Sorry.
Babe.
And yeah, he had a big
Screamed.
black eye. It was horrible. I know. Don't do shrooms, people.
Well,
We'll do,
that.
but don't throw yourself
shoot 'em
out
in
of a
your
window
ear. Yeah.
on the first floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fun. So yeah, Mr. Bite, one got away. Tell us
one
about
that got away.
tell us about your hubby. How did you meet?
Yeah.
My hubby. So I was bartending, and he was here. He's from the UK, so he was visiting and working here. And you know what? When I met him, it's kind of like that cliche when people are like you're not like looking. I did not want a boyfriend. Actually, I had just broke up.
With Mr. Bite?
No way.
No, not Mr. Bite being the one before you get with your husband.
Yeah.
Sadly, I've only had 3 serious boyfriends. My high school boyfriend,
Honestly,
Mr. Bite.
not sadly. Yeah, 3 is enough.
And then my husband. Yeah. So it's the 3 boyfriends. So when I met my husband, Anna always laughs because she's like, you had just turned into an adult like the day before you met him.
Yeah.
Because he's 5 years older than me. So when I met him, he was like a proper adult. Like
Right.
had a job.
Proper.
Like
Oh,
God.
man.
Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
proper adult.
Yeah.
Like, where I was still like, you know, I just almost jumped out of
You thought duck was
window.
seafood.
Yeah, exactly. One of our first dates, I had like gone on this whole thing where I was like, I'm a vegetarian and I don't eat any meat and I'm really healthy and blah, blah, blah. And then we go to the restaurant and they're like, what would you like to start? And I was like, I'll take the duck. And he was like, wait a minute. And he took me out with his boss.
Oh.
So his boss is like 40. I'm 21. He's like whatever. And he's like, but I thought you said you didn't eat meat. And I was like, duck is I was like, it goes in the water.
It's a water animal.
Yeah. And he was like, no. And I was like, waiter. And he never lets me live that down.
Honestly, fair. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. But we actually did long distance for 2 years.
Yeah.
Which I think was good because I was 21 when we met, and I do advocate for not having serious relationships.
Yeah.
In your
Right.
early 20s. And it worked out well for us because he was like working and had a proper career and was flying all around, like, because he works on helicopters. And I was just in the city being
She was
a hot
just
mess.
busy being my best friend. And we weren't ready for commitment.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of worked. And then by the time I was like more ready to settle down, he came here.
What was
Yeah.
long distance like doing it? Oh, this is gonna make me sound like a little fucking kid, but
Yeah.
what was long distance like doing it when you can't have like FaceTimes and texts?
Yeah.
Do you know what I used to do? This makes me feel like such an old lady. I would go to the corner store and get a calling card.
Wow.
I don't even know what that
Yeah.
is.
I don't know.
And you would like scratch off the back.
There's a number.
Yeah. And then
Prepaid
you would,
calling card.
Yeah.
Spooky.
And
Yeah.
then you would, because you couldn't go on your cell phone at that point. It was
Yeah.
just like
Right.
out of control fees. So yeah, I would get my calling card and we would talk.
Yeah.
I remember every day at like 6. And
Is an episode, we won't talk about it here because it's very long and detailed and traumatic for me, but we do have an episode on our podcast where Becca's talks about her sex tapes because she has several sex tapes.
I saw this.
Yeah.
Please.
From
Because
the
she
long
was doing
distance.
long distance, and back then, like you literally had to have. She had like a folder on her computer.
I have a folder too.
Good for you.
I do. I do. You know what? I figured I watched Schitt's Creek and
I love
Maura
Schitt's Creek.
really reminded me that even if you don't like your body right now, it's the hottest it's gonna be.
Yes.
So I make
love
sure,
her.
every angle, gotta remember it. I'll make a little
Well,
photo album.
yeah, and you should because that's the thing actually about these. I was worried about them for so long because part of the story is we made a sex tape on like again we're back in the olden
camera.
days.
Yeah, a
So
camera.
we had
An
a
old
camera,
film camera.
and then it broke, and then he gave it to his dad to fix.
Oh my god.
I know, and we've
I think
never
that's more
gotten
on
it
him.
back.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's still at their house.
In the
Oh my
UK.
gosh. Is it fixed?
I don't know. I've been scared to ask because when I asked him, I'm like, where's the camera? Because at first I was just like, whatever. But then I was like, actually, I should have tabs on that tape. And he was like, oh, I gave it to my dad because my camera broke. And I was like, is the video still on
The
it?
SD card. Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. And he was like, well, I don't think he's going to watch my stuff when he fixes it. And I was like, God.
He's probably going to test and see if it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm so
Wow.
glad. I don't even want to know. But yeah, great. Let's change the subject because I
Yeah.
can't. Sister and sex.
We're like, we'll listen to the episode in our off time.
Yeah. It's very hilarious.
Yeah. So no, it was good. We did long distance for a while and then he finally moved here. And we did have a breakup.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
yeah.
between, yeah, when I was maybe like 25, 26.
Yeah.
How long
it's
did you
always,
break up for?
Yeah, for a while. Like
year.
when people break up with their partners, I'm like, if something horrible didn't happen, I'm like, you never know. You could
Yeah.
get,
Could
back,
get back
together.
together.
Because
Yeah.
they did get back together.
And to be honest, it was a really good break because one thing that it's like, so he came here from another country, and I feel like that's really hard because I'm super independent. Like
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
I'm in a relationship, I don't want to do everything.
And he's not independent.
No, he's
Sorry, I know he's not listening. so-
No, he's not independent, but he needed, and like part of our problem is like, and I'm just like weird. Like sometimes I just want to work for weeks and not talk to anybody. Or sometimes I want to be with my girlfriends, or like me and Anna are together. Like I just don't put all my eggs in like
One basket.
Yeah. Like I need the whole life going on. And he really struggled with that, I found, because he would have been totally like codependent and just have the two of us. But then when I was out, he would be alone. So the breakup was really nice, because then he ended up joining a soccer team here, and then he got his whole own set of friends.
Yeah, that was
And a
good.
life.
He made a life. Yeah, because I thought when we broke up, I was like, he's going to leave. Well, I was kind of like, sorry, sweets. But I was like, I hope he leaves.
Good thing he didn't.
Because we all live downtown. So I was like, this
Yeah.
isn't going to go well if you don't leave. But then he didn't leave. But
Of course
but it
not.
worked out.
Stalker.
No, I know.
How'd you reconnect?
Yeah.
So pretty much it was so messy. It was a really bad year. I didn't sleep with anybody. My plan was like, I was like, I want to like sleep with like some people.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want to.
Yeah.
Like I just wasn't in the zone, and
You were getting really turned off.
I was super turned off. Everyone I went on a date with, I was just like, ugh. And like we had just bought a house. One thing I really wanted to do was like I wanted to buy a house, and he wasn't into like buying a house.
Yeah.
So
We bought a house together before like housing was crazy. Like we basically put our down payment on the house. And this is bad financial advice, but pretty much
did.
put
I
mine.
did
She
not.
didn't. I put mine on a line of credit.
we buy a house.
That gives me confidence in my credit.
Each month that we had to have $5,000 for the down payment. It comes to like the day we're buying the house, and Anna was like, I don't have any money, do you? And I was like, yeah, I've been like squirreling and saving away because we were bartending. And she was like, well, I don't have anything. And then she figured it out.
Yeah, and like you could never get a line of credit for
No, you couldn't do
$20,000 like I did.
Yeah.
I think it was for 20 or it was 10.
Did we need
was it
I think we
10?
need 10 each. 10
And we
each.
needed 20 to put down. But like now, even owning a home and owning, like for me to get a business loan, they give you like crumbs. Like it's
Nothing.
so much has changed. Back then they were just like, yeah, okay,
Take
you're
it.
like the useless 25-year-old here, take this cash. Like it was crazy. But anyway, it all worked out in the end. Becca still
Yes,
owns
it
the
did.
house.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I sold out to her husband in the end, and then me and my husband bought a house. But yeah, she still owns that house as a rental property.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Home buying is a good idea if you know you're going to stay.
I just feel bad now for like people
things
trying to
have
get into this market.
Yeah.
Like it's so sad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's just not even, you can't just kind of like you can't get good deals anymore.
No, so full exposure. We bought a house in the North End, 3-bedroom, 2 levels for $250-ish.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, I just bought a house in the North End with my parents. Like,
Yeah.
a split entry,
Yeah.
and it was a little more than that.
Yeah.
Than that.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
Yeah.
even back then that was kind of a lot because the
Yeah.
North End was just starting to like get like
Yeah.
trendy.
Yeah.
So that was like, but yeah, you needed only back then, I think you needed 5% down, which was whatever we put down. But now it's like you need 20%
Yeah, I was just gonna say
down
it's
and, like,
20% down most of the
yeah.
time.
And now houses are like, even the smallest house is like at least 500. Just like our
Yeah.
neighborhood,
Our neighborhood's
it's
insane
like
right
tripled in
Yeah.
price, like
Yeah.
from what we bought our houses for.
now. Yeah.
But yeah, they made it out alive.
Yeah. Yeah. Then, so during the year, of course, because boys can't be alone, he got a new girlfriend right away.
They always do.
I know.
They always do.
They always do.
So he had a new girlfriend.
Someone
but
needs
then,
to scratch their heads.
someone needs to scratch their heads and do their laundry, even though I never did that. That's part of the reason why we broke up. Just the whole year, we pretty much kept talking to each other.
Yeah.
And not wanting to be with anyone else. And then we slowly kind of like, we would like
Yeah.
get drunk and yell at each other. Then we'd like get drunk and see each other. And then we'd slowly be like, do you want to not get drunk and see each other? And then like slowly just made
How
it
it
back.
goes, how it
But I'm
goes.
happy that we broke up because I feel like I had our time. I also met him when I was 21.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got together
Yeah,
so
so
young.
young.
Yeah. So I kind of had that feeling where I was like, I don't know, maybe I want to be with like a surfer guy or this type of guy. And then I went out there and I was
You
like,
saw
no,
what's
I'm
out
good.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just had to check in.
Yeah.
And I feel like you guys started, like when I started dating my husband, you guys started dating again. Because
Yes.
like then I was like, well, we need
And then Anna had a baby.
partner in crime.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I honestly turned 27 and I was like, I want a baby now. Where before that, I didn't think about that
Never,
At all.
ever.
Maybe I'll
No.
have a shift too.
Yeah.
How many
Right,
kids do you have? 2 kids?
2, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we have you guys on. We recently did a little bit of a strategic plan because we're trying to be more businessy, and we were writing down our target, our different audiences. And besides college girls, our number one audience is MILFs. So I'm really glad to
I
have
love
you guys
that.
on and be our
MILFs on.
our first MILFs on the show.
I love that.
Because we haven't had any.
We truly are doing I don't know. I feel like we've been able to do our business and babies at the same time, which is definitely not easy.
I was gonna say that's crazy.
Yeah.
But actually, and
you do take a lot of flack for it, to be honest.
Yeah, you do. But I think it's the best option for women. I became an entrepreneur because I became a mom, and I was like, wait a minute, having a job sucks because your whole but it's your whole life is what your job says, and then you work everything around. And when you have kids, it's also your whole life is, and then it's now you just have two bosses. So I'm no, I need to get rid of one. And then entrepreneurship lets you work around
totally
being a mom. If you want to do that, other people want to work and have full-time nannies, and that's perfect. And I kind of wanted a mix. I was I want to be involved, but I also don't want to be there
Gotta do
all
your
the
own
time.
shit.
Yeah.
Not all the eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that is your happy ever after.
Yes. Yeah.
Anna.
Ish.
Yeah, I was we got in a huge fight yesterday. So anything could happen at this point.
Yeah, I feel like the key to marriage is just, again,
what is
same
the key
as
to marriage?
it's just exactly like small business or whatever. It's just keep going.
One step in front of the other.
Yeah, obviously, if you're in danger, don't keep going. If you're miserable, if there's abusive situations, stuff like that. But you are going to fight with someone, they're going to piss you off. And actually, that TikTok, was it a TikTok? I forget what it was, where it's just straight women and straight men just hate each other.
Yeah.
But there's so
just
much.
Fuck each other.
Yeah, exactly.
That's about
it's
where we're at.
hard to coexist when your brains work so differently. And that's not every man and every woman for sure. Because I know I have lots of different friends with different situations. But yeah,
we both have very hetero partners.
Well, yeah, my husband's older. My husband's 16 years older than me.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've taught him a lot of things about how the world's changed. Okay, so you are April 25th. He was born April 25th, 1965.
Okay.
Take that for elder millennial dating a boomer.
Wait, is he a boomer?
I think he's
Or is he the one?
Yeah.
He's on the cusp between boomer and going into Gen X or whatever it is.
Yeah.
He's he can say, but I think it ends at 1965. So anyway, obviously growing up in the 70s is totally different from growing up in the 90s, and totally different. Our kids are now, growing up in 2022, which is totally different. So it's a lot of learning on everyone's part. But yeah, I met him downtown. Old school.
There we go.
Yeah, I saw this meme, and it was don't think going downtown you're gonna find your partner. I think it was on Dow memes or something.
Yeah.
And it was going to Argyle Street at 3 a.m. thinking you're gonna meet your husband. I'm yeah, actually.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
I posted that, and I was yeah, I did meet my husband doing that. And I got so many messages of women my age being yeah, me too.
Yeah.
No, I think a lot of people actually have.
Everyone's yeah, that's how we met our husbands. Because I think meeting in person, I know online dating is huge right now, but chemistry is
no, we
so
say
important.
that all the time.
I've actually, here's an update on my dating life. I've completely stopped using dating apps because I just it seems just a waste of energy, and it's just stagnant energy, and nothing ever happens with it.
Yeah.
So I stopped going on dating apps, and then I also had this whole moment during our podcast break where I completely raised my standards on everything and how I want to be meeting people in person and see where that goes. And anyways, I've reclaimed my virginity, but basically it's
better than the alternative sometimes.
When you change your little standards like that,
Yeah.
you go a long time by yourself because you have a higher need. But meeting people in person, that's the bread and butter. That's the best way to meet people.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can meet my soulmate on Argyle Street. Last time I went on
I think
Argyle
you
Street,
can.
some guy asked me to suck his dick for Bitcoin.
Well, fuck you. We're not doing
That's
that.
2022.
Yeah. We're not doing that.
He showed me his bank account.
I
And
was
he had
just
$40
about to say,
in his
how are
bank
you
account.
gonna?
Okay, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell no.
The reaction was such a mom reaction. She's like, well,
Yeah.
Did you see his bank account before you did it?
appalled.
Like, how did you confirm the crypto balance?
Yeah. Hell no.
business.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think meeting people in person, like when I met my husband, we were just like, we would go downtown and get like silly, willy, crazy all over town.
Oh, we love
like,
getting silly, willy,
just-
crazy over here.
Yeah, just causing a ruckus, breaking stuff, knocking things over.
You guys
know?
are the original weekend round.
Yeah, we were. We honestly did terrible. Like we broke the city when we went out.
The 902 girls.
The 902
We're
girls.
like, whoops. We were talking about that today and being like, let's never tell anyone this stuff that happened. But so yeah, I saw my husband at the bar and I was just like in one of those moods where I was like, you know what? That guy's fucking hot and I'm telling him.
Yep.
And I just walked up and I was like, yep, you're with me for the night.
For life.
Yeah.
Damn.
And he was like trying to be like, he was probably like, he always is like, I was like, who is this insane chick that's just like, I like your thick neck and your big head.
He does have a really big head.
I like, yeah, in a thick neck. I saw it from across the room and I was like, I'll take a bite out of that. But anyway.
You'll be in the paper next.
Yeah. So he was like, okay. And I'm like, well, had no resistance, so don't blame it on me. Because he's always like, you were so. I'm like, yeah, you were like game.
Just as into it.
And I was like 28, you were 44, and we were like making out at the Toothy Moose.
Yeah.
So like, what's your
I don't know why you're
excuse?
more on you
Yeah,
than me.
exactly. I was like, and I think he was like scared. He was like embarrassed. He was scared he was gonna get in trouble because he had like a hoodie on. So I remember being like, but his son was like,
Oh, I was gonna say, did he have a girlfriend? But his son
No.
was probably out too.
yeah, I think maybe.
he
has, okay, so I didn't even know how old he was. And I was like, and his friend was like,
He
well,
looks very young.
His friend was trying to cock block him. His friend was like, he's divorced with a child. And I was like,
Oh my God.
okay. I was
Just
like, how
spilling
old's, I was
all
like,
the
how old's
drama.
the child? And he was like,
How old's the child?
I thought he said 8, but he actually said 18, which would have been a lot more revealing about his age. So I was like, 8. I was like, okay, whatever.
with that.
Never dated anyone with a kid. Let's do it because we're fucking tonight. But then, yeah, we ended up getting married.
They
Having children.
When we were talking about kids, they went through something that is very challenging, but made it through. Is that she got pregnant early into their relationship, so they had
Yeah.
kids
Wow.
in a
Yeah.
very new.
Yeah, we got to know each other and so when I had my first son, I think my only son, I have a daughter too, but when I had my son.
I was going to say, are you calling Teddy one of your sons? It's just her dog.
Yes, he is Mr. Baby. So what happened? Oh yeah, so I got pregnant into the 6 months in, maybe not. I don't even remember. I can't think of that. Maybe like 9 months in.
But still fresh.
And then anyway, it was very dramatic, but yeah, we just powered through. And then after my son, he was like, well, because I was like, I want more than one child. He was like, well, if you want another child, you better have it soon because I'm getting older. And he was like, I thought I was getting retired. He is retired right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, he's old.
Yeah, he's
old.
retired.
Freedom
Yeah.
55. He retired when he was 55.
So he,
I'm going to drive the point home that he's old as fuck.
yeah, he's much older. So
Are you bragging on this?
I always tell people,
Little
I'm
silver
like,
fox.
date older.
Yeah, no, 100%.
In some ways, but then I'm like, also don't date old.
Yeah.
You have to be strong to date older, I think, because the person's going to be a lot more established and set in their ways.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
might not be willing to bend like a younger guy.
Yeah.
So that's when I've gotten frustrated before because I'm quite dominant and he's very dominant too. So it's like we go to head on things.
Right.
But he's not like,
But that's what you needed because you always dated weaker types.
yeah, that I could really
Control.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then you would always end up
Yeah.
bulldozing them.
Clearly, you guys know my dating style.
You're
When
like,
I see,
well,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Bulldozing.
Yeah. So anyway, moral of the story is if you see someone you like, just go tell them.
Yeah, tell them you like their
Yes.
thick neck.
Yeah. Tell them what you like about them. And I guess being aggressive works sometimes.
Yeah.
I
think,
sometimes.
But-
I think being forward is we always
Yeah.
talk about that. It's
Yeah.
a move for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because how else will anyone know?
Well, we were talking about this when Mark told us that he made out with 7 people at one dance.
Mark. Not you being a slut.
We were like, that is the thing to do because people want to make out and Mark
did you
was
not
offering.
How did you not get fucking mono?
Supply and demand. He understood it.
Yeah, like
You probably definitely
sometimes
did.
people aren't aggressive enough, and people are like, I actually do want someone to come up to me and make out with me, but they're not.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people complain about that with guys, that guys aren't aggressive enough.
No, guys are pussies.
Yeah.
Guys are bad.
My mom has always told me from day one that guys don't talk to me because I'm intimidating. So I'm just gonna go.
I'm like, I'm too pretty.
I'm too
Yeah.
pretty is what my parents tell me.
So that was one thing I loved about my husband. He's very forward and like very
Yeah.
like complimentary, which
I love that.
I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nice.
it's the British.
It's hard to
British
do all
of
the
them.
work too. Like it's nice to have a little balance sometimes.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's good to have challenge in relationships too. I think it keeps
Yeah.
it interesting because the minute that you
Settle into like a
settle in and you're like,
routine.
this person's not like passionate about anything,
Yeah.
then you're just kind of like, meh, meh. So fighting
Yeah.
sucks, but it does kind of
you can
give
do a
you
little
something to work
passion.
on.
When,
Yeah.
when do
Yeah.
you guys think you should like call it? Like, because I know a lot of girls our age will be in like these super toxic relationships, but will just be like, I want to make it work. Like,
Yeah.
he's my end game. But it's like, okay, it's
Well,
a little like, what's the line? Like, you know,
I think if you think you're trying to change someone, do not just
Yeah,
call
It's
it.
never gonna happen.
Because every relationship I've had that's gone south and they've gone on I've had a lot of longer relationships. Like one was 7 years, one was like
Holy
2
shit.
years. One, I dated like someone in high school for like 3 or 4 years. Like I'm like
Are
very
you a relationship girl?
yeah, like I'm stubborn. Like I will not quit.
Yeah. Right.
So, and now I've been with my husband for 12 years. This is how old I am. But yeah, so I think that like, but the people that I'm like, I wish I had broken up with them sooner. It was like, because I was always like, if he just does this and this and this,
Yeah.
then it'll work. If he just quits drinking, it'll be better. If he just
Yeah.
gets a better job, it'll be better. If he starts being more spiritual and like self-aware, it'll be better. It's
Yeah.
like, that's your goal, not their goal. So they're not, they don't need to do your goal.
I've always said you need to be in love with the person that they are in the present moment
Yeah.
and
Yes.
not in love with someone's potential. Like,
Yeah.
I'll say this as a
Absolutely.
quick reference because not everybody watches Summer House, but if you do, you should listen to the Pop Pod episode.
Yeah.
Like Amanda is in love with Kyle's potential. So
Yes.
she'll never
Absolutely.
be
Yeah.
she'll never
Yeah.
be happy with him.
Yeah.
Like, this is like
Yeah.
an engaged couple on a show that we like.
Yeah.
She'll never be happy with Kyle because she sees like the potential of Kyle, the potential of
What
him
he
being
could
a good
be.
husband. She
Yeah.
sees the potential of him being a good dad and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And she thinks that she can get him there eventually, but the thing is you will just never fucking get someone there.
and it's gonna be the
No.
same old shit. She's
It's gonna
have
be
kids,
worse when she
and
adds
he's gonna
kids.
be hungover.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the same thing.
She's gonna get
Exactly.
so annoyed when Christmas is ruined because he's like peeing on the
Drunk,
Christmas
yeah.
tree and all the
Yeah.
kids are crying. Like
There's-
it's not
yeah.
fun when you add kids into the mix.
That's the thing. If anything this is what I say to people too, is like any problem that you have, when you go take the next step, the problem amplifies.
Yeah,
So
it gets worse. It
absolutely.
doesn't
even
get
like
better.
Yeah.
even for our age, like the next step is like being serious. So I'm like, if you
Yeah.
guys are just hooking up and every time you drink you're fucking screaming at each other, you're
Yeah.
not gonna work as a couple.
No.
Yeah.
You're not gonna work engaged, you're not gonna
Yeah.
work married, you're not gonna work with kids.
Yeah.
Like you
That's
need to
actually a really
realize-
good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everyone I've moved in with, because I've lived with 3 other guys
them.
before my husband.
Yeah.
And every time we moved in together, everything went to shit.
That's when it blows up.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, this is going to be good. Like, we're committed. And then it's just like, this is more depressing than ever because now I
Yeah.
live with you and I still hate you.
and I can't get
all
away
the
from it.
things, like all the little red flags that go on in the back of your brain that you don't want to talk about, like
Yeah.
think about them before you make any
Yeah.
real steps, because any next step you make amplifies
Yes.
all of your problems. Like, and the potential thing too, like I was saying, like when you need to call it, like when I was with my ex and I was like making resumes and writing cover letters and driving him to his job.
Yes,
and
been
stuff,
there.
when
When
I
you're
was
mothering.
like, when you're mothering, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is past the point of supportive girlfriend, push yourself girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like this is to the point of being like, I'm taking you by the
Babying.
fucking ear,
Yeah.
I'm dragging you inside.
I'm
like
trying
the
to make
amount-
you the person I want you to be.
yeah, the amount of girls that I see where it's like, well, they're like forcing their boyfriend out of the bar at 1 a.m. or they're
Yeah.
like cooking him dinner every single night and then
No.
they're just like fucking off and like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you just,
It's-
at what point, why would you want to mother like
Somebody
it's just like
else's
Yeah.
child.
this is
That's what
probably me.
people
I
say
have a
online.
very interesting outlook on relationships right now, and it's coming
Yeah.
through in the podcast because I'm
Yeah.
in my independent era. But I've
Yeah.
always said like having like a boyfriend, in my experience, has been like having a stupid son that I just have to look out
And you
for.
don't, and that's what you need to avoid.
Yeah, like that is what.
Because, and this is what I would say to all young girls, like, you need to do that stuff for yourself. And you guys already do, but it's like, you focus on your own resume, your own career. Like, don't, because a lot of people get lost in doing that for someone else, and they're not even doing
Focusing
it for
on themselves at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, no.
And I think that's, it's exactly that. It's like, first of all, don't set the standards too. If you're sucking up already and making them dinner and like, I don't know.
Yeah,
don't set the standards too high.
That's the thing. You gotta like
should
hold
be
back
making
on
you
certain
dinner.
things, like for certain, standards.
And also, like, at
Yeah.
a point, I feel like it's like that's not fun for you. Like, it's not fun anymore. And it's like when
No.
you're in your like early 20s, like, I think there's a point to be made of like, oh, it could be kind of like, I feel like it's just more fun. Like, if you're not having fun anymore, call it.
Well, that's what I find a lot of people that like are getting divorced, and I look at their relationship and I've talked to them, and they just don't like hanging out together.
Yeah. Like, it's just not fun.
Yes. And that's one thing like me and my husband have always had, and like you and your husband are like that too. It's like if your best times are like when you're on vacation or like when
we
you're
like
just
dinners
the
together.
two of you
Yeah.
talking, it's like that's a good sign because that's life.
Yeah.
It's just the two of you sitting there. It's not
little
having
moments.
sex. It's,
Yeah.
it's that's not what it is.
No.
Yeah, it's not, guys. It's not.
Definitely not having
Don't
sex.
sign me up for that.
That's probably the biggest thing with like marriage and everything is because I know we do have married listeners and stuff, but separating like your life and your marriage, like I've always said, and I know my parents hate about them when I talk about it on the podcast, but like they'll get so stressed out with their normal life, of course. Like they have like 3 insane children and you know, they'll get stressed out and they'll get bickery and they'll get whatever.
Yeah.
But then they'll go on these trips and when they come back, it's like they're fucking 20 again. Like they are so in love with
Just
each
best
other.
friends.
Yeah.
And that just shows that the thing that causes like their bickers or their fights or their annoyance is external, is life. You know?
It's just life.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
not their actual relationship. Once they get to like hang out and go to a hotel and have a drink together, then they're like, okay, you don't suck, you know?
Yeah. Or
And
like you
that's-
pick your battles. Like I've like backed down on so many things that I used to be like, excuse me, you need to say it this way and that, and then I'm just like, you know what? He's living in his own home and he's making his own mistakes and he might put something somewhere that's not supposed to go. I drive him insane because he's like very OCD and he's like, you leave doors open. And
We were raised by hippies who were like never told us to do anything.
so but like, you know, we try not to nag each other on everything and just save the fights for like the important stuff.
Yeah.
Me and Anna kind of had the opposite problem where we were probably a bit too independent,
Yeah, definitely too independent.
where we had to become a little bit more nurturing.
Yeah, I've had a couple boyfriends get new girlfriends because I was so unavailable.
True story.
And then I was like, hey, do you have another girlfriend? One boyfriend, I was like, you actually have a tattoo of another girl's name that's new.
You're like, I thought
Yeah.
you were my boyfriend.
You said you were going on vacation with your friend. He's like, sorry. I was like, fuck you.
I know that we are running time like crazy to get home to your children.
I do.
But please tell us the footnotes, the spark notes of this breakup that we were teased.
Anna, you tell.
Oh my God.
So
Okay,
now that
so
because you have a
speaking of-
husband and you have beautiful children now,
Okay.
so we can talk about the shitty.
Yeah.
breakups.
Yes.
When we
So-
do it, it's sad.
Yeah.
You know, when you do it, it's hopeful.
Yes. No, I had, this is when I realized this is like me being too, like not having the right person and just doing me because I was doing me on a trip with my friends in Toronto and my partner was drinking a lot. Like,
Was your partner
too
with
much.
you?
No, he was home.
Okay.
And he was drinking a lot and partying a lot. And to save his ass, I'll just say, I don't know. He just kept
He had
going and going.
substance abuse problems,
I
let's say
think
that.
that's my personal
But we were
humble
also
opinion.
in our 20s, so it's
We were
kinda hard
bartending.
to determine.
So anyway, I'm away and I find out that he's at this concert and he like shatters his leg.
Oh my gosh.
And
Good.
instead of texting, as soon as I got the message, instead of texting, I thought I was texting my sister because we were talking about him. And you know when you're thinking of someone, so you text them. Yeah, I was like, what a moron. Alcoholic, like just like went off.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, and I just could never come back from that.
That's fair.
So I got home and I was very confused because I got home and his ex-girlfriend was helping him recover. And all the
also
friends
bartended with us.
were mad at me and they were like, yeah, you are not helpful. you're actually mean because and I was like, I am helpful, but I kept trying to be helpful, but I was also really busy and it just like was not panning out.
It just wasn't it.
But then it was like,
and you were less sympathetic because it's one thing if someone has like a legit injury, but it's like you were
I was
hammered.
mad.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
mean, he did really hurt himself and I feel
know.
bad. But then
Or is that mean to be? What do
No.
you guys
Like
think?
leading up to that, was there like a
Oh,
little,
yeah.
there was like
Yeah.
beef about it? So it's
oh,
kind of
I
like,
was just
okay,
like,
I
this
get
is
it.
going out of control. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, you're coming home at 7:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, it was just really bad. So then I was like starting to get kind of jealous that
Yeah.
he was like, he basically was replacing me because I moved in for the summer, but I was moving out, thank God. But I was like, okay, I'm getting replaced. And also the girl that his ex had,
replaced. You're like,
had
this has
also
happened
had
before.
sex with my old boyfriend. So like, it was like, it was honestly like a
below
reality
deck.
show. It was
Rules or below deck.
So me
Yeah.
and her had like this kind of like, I'm like, I don't feel bad for you because you screwed my boyfriend.
Yeah.
When I'm pretty sure my boyfriend and me were still together.
Oh my God,
that was
you're
another
Stassi,
boyfriend.
she's Kristen.
Yeah, this was another boyfriend. So this was my rebound, this guy. So anyway, then I'm like, okay, I'm trying to help out, but I don't really want to. But then I decide, I'm like, actually, you know what? Screw this. You're just like getting a new girlfriend. You're not even asking me if that's okay. And so I
You're
feel
gonna
like
get another girlfriend.
he should have
Tell
just
me.
broken up with me. Maybe
Yeah,
he
he
had
should've.
broken up with me in his brain, or maybe he was like, girl, like I'm done. Like you sent me a text saying all
Read
this
the
mean
room.
stuff to me and like,
He's like,
basically
okay.
calling me a loser. And I've been trying not to talk to you since. Although we were still sleeping together with even
Well,
though
I mean,
he
that
was,
doesn't mean
had like
anything because it's a
big,
man.
like
We're still
full body
living
cast.
together.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, I was
Not
like
any good.
Yeah, I was still trying to be like number one boo. So anyway,
number one in his heart.
That is just too much of a
then
like workout.
they were
for me.
like, to top it all off, our work was like, let's do a fundraiser for him because he can't work. Okay, I should be sympathetic. Really great idea. I ended up getting like shit face.
I went away. The bad thing is I went away for a girls' weekend to Montreal for the fundraiser. So she was with my boyfriend at the time.
Yeah, and then I just like started hulking out. Like I was just like, I think what happened? I pushed him.
Yeah, she pushed him.
Yes, and everyone was like, "This
Oh
is a
my gosh.
fundraiser
for him
in
in
his
a full
broken
body cast.
body."
And then you guys were kicked out. So this is, yeah.
well, yeah, you
I
can't
got kicked
physically
out of the
assault the person who the fundraiser
fundraisers
is
for. Yeah, and I was like, oh.
My husband called me and was like, I've got Anna here. I've just put on 6 in the City. And I always remember
I
this.
totally remember that. That was so depressing. That's why
Yeah.
I hate Sex in the City.
I know.
Because
And he's
everything
like-
is depressed. Every time I've had a bad breakup, people put that movie on in the early 2000s, and it's so depressing. You just watch Carrie
Yeah.
be depressed.
He was
I
like-
haven't watched it. Don't tell me I'm watching Sex and the City right
Yes,
now.
yeah, we won't tell you. So
Don't
he's
watch
like,
it when you're sad.
Yeah, he's like, I've put on Sex in the City and I'm making a hot cocoa. Things did not go well at the charity event. I was like, what happened?
Things did not go well at the charity event. She actually pushed over the man in the full body cast.
He's like,
Got
and
in a
then we were
scuffle.
escorted out. And then, so anyways, the part about my dad was, we told my dad, he's like, what happened? Because Anna was
Yeah.
depressed. And I was like, well,
Because Anna was depressed.
Yeah.
She
Like
beat
that.
up her.
I was like, oh, my reputation's going down fast.
So was this fundraiser? It was for your job.
well, it was for him from my hosted
the
at
job.
the bar that I worked at.
So this all happened at your workplace as well.
my workplace as well, where
very
everyone
shady.
had
This is so
decided that
Kristen
they
from
hated
Vanderpump.
me.
Oh, and then everyone
yes,
hated
I was.
her.
Everyone
Yeah, of
hated me
course.
because they were already like, we know what you did.
Yeah, they
we
already
know
knew about
while
the
you were in
tax.
Toronto, you were just like, oh, fuck him. And gallivanting around while we were all at the hospital, like supporting, because this is what our friend group
Yeah.
does. It
I
was
was gonna
very
say,
Vanderpump.
culty workplace.
Yeah, it was very culty
Yeah.
and very.
Bars and restaurants are very
Yeah.
like ancestral relationships. So it was like very high stakes. It felt like at the
Right.
time.
Yeah.
Like everyone
Of
was like,
course.
"Did you hear what she did?"
Yeah, and I was like,
"Yeah."
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna bow out of this workplace and this relationship.
You're like, I'm quitting.
Yeah, I did. I was just like, I'm done.
You seriously
yeah.
need to change your name. I don't know how you live in this city.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm
Seriously.
done. Yeah, and then, oh my god, I hope no one that's connected to us listens to this podcast. Because then, like years later, I was taking our kids to like a daycare, and he was like, "Hi," with his kids, and I was like, "Oh my god."
No.
Now that is something I don't look forward
I'm
to
not
ever
excited for
experiencing. Like the running to the ex, your kids, their
With the
kids. Are you
children.
married? Am I married? Are you divorced or married?
Yeah.
Like, you know
And
that.
he's married.
That whole size up.
Yeah.
The whole sizing up each
He
other.
married
Yeah, and he
the
married
nurse.
the girl,
Nursed him
his
back
ex.
to help.
So if they are listening, they are a very sweet, good-looking couple with very good-looking kids, and they're obviously meant to be.
Yeah.
So
it was you were kind of like an igniting
You're the villain.
I was the villain, and it was a dark time for all of us.
Yeah.
Everyone was in a dark space.
All come out. That's the thing, though. Like the way that you were kind of like, just like I don't even care, is when you're an independent woman and you have a certain standard, like nothing bothers you. Like you don't care about it. Maddie always jokes with me and says that when something happens, like if somebody sends me a cute DM or will comment on my photo or we'll do something, I'll be like, oh my God.
And then we'll just never talk about it.
And then we'll never talk about it again.
Yeah.
Because it's like I get a little validation. I get a little,
It's like, oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then I like literally, don't care. And it's because no one meets the standard.
No.
You
And
know?
that's the thing. Like
So
I had been like, it was like, I had been trying to change this person for a long time. And not that they were a bad person. They just weren't my person.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I don't want to be in the bar industry forever. Like let's make choices that are not bar oriented. And he was just like, I really don't know why you're telling me to do all this stuff. I don't want to do any of it. And I was like not listening to that. I was like, okay, noted. Now, what are we going to do to get out of the bar industry? And so like, that's what I recommend. Do not force things.
Yeah.
Because they will
Take
end up
things as they are.
Like him exactly how he is on the day that you meet him.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, that's what you can't expect someone to change. And it's, exactly. Find someone who's right for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not fair to anyone otherwise.
What wise, good little mom advice for us to end our
on. I was
episode
gonna say,
on.
so cute.
You guys, if you are missing our pop culture roundups, which I know you are, I see when I question for them. We are struggling in school right now, so we cannot be providing. We can't be producing the pop culture roundups like we were. But to replace your urge, your fix, your pop culture need, check out Pop Pod. You can see them on Apple and Spotify. Pop Pod. They're on Instagram, on TikTok.
Yep.
Check
And
out
it's
their
Pop Pod
TikToks.
Weekly.
Pop Pod Weekly at Pop Pod Weekly on Instagram. I don't have any followers, guys, so start following me because I've got some hot takes that
I want
no
to
one
see you
listens
all
to.
over there.
Yeah, we're gonna start. Yeah,
Fave podcast, Pop Pod.
Pop Pod.
Love it.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. We're going to have you on again.
Yes.
And that wraps up this week's episode of The Weekend Roundup. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of The Weekend Roundup. Be sure to like, subscribe, and press the bell button. Talk soon.